Now joining us on the Houston Sports Talk podcast, Houston Astros President Reid Ryan. A real pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us, Reid. And I know the story for the Astros fans this week was the Hall of Fame election. What was your immediate reaction to the results?
Well, it was disappointing. I was really wanting to see Craig make it in the Hall of Fame. I felt like he was deserving. All of the indicators looked to be in his favor from people that I polled at the winter meetings to what other folks were saying to the coverage, in the local media. And so it was disappointing to get that close and not get in. The track record says that two people that have got within 2 votes before both got in. When you look at people that played the position that Craig played of second base, even though he did play catcher and outfield as well, his numbers are better than those, and most of those folks were second or third time Hall of Famers on the ballot. So I feel like he will eventually get in, but it was really disappointing not getting to celebrate with him on Tuesday.
Hey, Reid, we all think that Craig Biggio will eventually get in, obviously being so close to 75%. But what about Jeff Bagwell? He actually slipped this past year with his votes.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I said Tuesday, I meant Wednesday. For Jeff, I feel like Jeff is a Hall of Famer. In his era, he was as good as anybody in the game. And if you look at a lot of the numbers that people follow today with the sabermetrics and the analytics, Jeff's even that much better of a player. I think Jeff, the reality is that Jeff is going to be a lot like Jim Rice, where it's going to take him a while to get in, where I think Craig will get in before Jeff, just having watched this process before. But if you look at the glass as half full, even though Jeff did go down, he still got over half the vote. And there's a lot of guys that aren't even getting half the vote yet. And with the changes that are possibly coming to the ballot and some of the other things that we've looked at with the amount of folks that have been on the ballot, I mean, it's been very crowded. I think a 2% or whatever it was still a very strong showing.
I remember that your dad's last year with the Astros was Biggio's first year. I'm guessing Craig caught your dad a few games because he played about 50 games that year. I think you were in high school then. You and I are about the same age. Were you around the team much at that time? Do you remember Craig when he first came up?
No, without a doubt. Everybody remembered Craig because, Billy Dorn had been at second base for a while and Phil Garner before that. And so obviously Craig came up and I've known him since 1989. I was a junior in high school. He's only, 5 or 6 years older than me. So we're pretty close in age. And it's been fun to follow Craig's career. But, even today, Craig still has a baby face. And that was the biggest thing is when he came up, he looked like he was about a 12-year-old kid. So it's good to see how far Craig has come with his career. And it would be a fitting tribute to see him get in the Hall of Fame.
Switching gears here, I know that you're working on some fan experience improvements, and I saw where you're trying to figure out a way to get the roof open more often at Minute Maid Park. How's that coming along?
Well, it's coming along fine. I'm going to pick this up next week with some of the representatives from Major League Baseball. When Minute Maid Park first opened, and since I've been associated with this organization for so long, was at a lot of the games and around the team, and the roof used to open on a regular basis late in games once the sun had gone down, during the game, and it would actually be opening while the teams were playing. Somewhere around the mid-2000s, interpretation of rules or changes of rules lent the organization not to do that much anymore. And so when I got here, I asked the question, and nobody really seemed to know why, because there's been a lot of change and a lot of new people here within the Astros. So we started digging into it a little bit and have had some good conversations with Joe Garagiola Jr., and we feel like we're going to be able to come up with something that satisfies Major League Baseball, that stays consistent with their rules, and that will still enable us to take what is one of the most unique aspects of the Houston Astros, which is our retractable roof Minute Maid Park, and make that a center point in the fan experience, and really will make it a unique environment for the players. And so that's what we want to do.
What else are you working on as far as this year? Any special nights at the ballpark or changes in the game? Anything the fans can look forward to that's a little bit different?
Well, we have a lot of stuff. It's a busy schedule. I'm not really prepared to, release everything that it is we're working on. Of course, right now, this time of year, the Caravan is a big deal. We've put a lot of work into the Caravan. We're going to be launching that next week and going to Southwest Louisiana all the way over to Baton Rouge. We're going to be going down into the Valley, Corpus Christi, Victoria, Rockport. We're going to, basically head all the way down to the border with Mexico, up through Central Texas, San Antonio, Austin, into College Station, back up to Huntsville. So we're very excited about what we're going to be doing here over the next couple of weeks of really getting out and connecting with our fans. So that's been quite an undertaking. We're working on several projects within Minute Maid Park, some that we'll announce, here in the near future, some later as we get closer to opening day, that will have to do with concession areas, the way the ballpark looks and feels on the inside. So we're very excited about that. We're also looking to do some things with our in-game entertainment to make the experience at Minute Maid Park even that much more enjoyable. So we have a lot of projects. They're not all completely ready for viewing yet, but as we get closer to opening day, there'll be something for fans to sink their teeth into every couple of weeks here.
Reid, you're on Minor League Baseball's Board of Trustees and have been the CEO of Ryan Sanders Baseball, of course, which owns the Round Rock Express and Corpus Christi Hooks. With such deep ties to the minor leagues, what are your thoughts of the Astros' renewed commitment to the farm system and what it means for the future of the organization?
Well, to me, that's where you have success. That's where you build a organization that's built to last. And it's very enjoyable for me to be over here working with Jeff Luhnow, who comes from a minor league background as well, from being farm director and scouting director with the St. Louis Cardinals. And so I've got to see a lot of Jeff's handiwork, across the white lines. And so it's the way that you build your organization to last. If you get in the game of chasing free agents like some of these clubs do, you can see it very rarely pays off. And then even when it does pay off, a lot of times the clubs are forced to trade or get rid of some of those guys, and then you go back into a situation where, like the Marlins have been in or the Diamondbacks have been in a couple times, where you go straight back to the rebuilding process. We want to be an organization that is like the Atlanta Braves, the St. Louis Cardinals, teams that build from within, that have sustained success every single year, and that have a deep farm system with players that our fans can connect with. And if you look up at the numbers that are retired or the names that are out on, the Walk of Fame outside, it's guys that spent 10 years plus of their career with the Houston Astros. It's Jose Cruz, it's, Jeff Bagwell, it's Craig Biggio, it's Mike Scott, Nolan Ryan, Jimmy Wynn, Larry Durker. The names go on and on and on. And that's what we want to do. We want that next wave of players that are going to compete for championships and that are going to be a part of this community for a long time.
Well, we can't let you go without asking what Nolan is up to these days. Your dad, there were reports a few months ago, he talked with Mr. Crane. Any chance he'll be a part of the Astros again in the near future?
I'd love to see him over here. I think it would be a lot of fun. He's in town quite a bit. I actually had lunch with him today, and I would love to have him over here. Like I tell people, I lobby him every chance I can get, but at the same time, for him to come over here would have to be something that I think he felt like he was bringing value and it was worthwhile for him, and that he was helping the organization and not getting in the way. And so I think we'll continue visiting and see if we can find a role that might work for him, but only time will tell.
I have to ask you before we go about the Astros TV situation. I'm one of those guys in the dark. I don't have a cable or satellite option. I'm on UVerse. At this point, are you pretty confident that we'll be able to see the games this season?
Yeah, I don't like to use the word confident that we'll see games this season, because I'm a really an honest person that tries to play the cards face up. I think there's a real good chance that everyone will get to see games this season. But in this environment of a new network, there's so many different outcomes that could happen here. We know that we're going to have some resolution to our current situation before the start of the season, but whether that manifests itself into having everyone be able to see the games are two different things. And one of the reasons why is because if you look across our 5-state region that we're on today, that are our television territory for the Houston Astros, there are so many individual cable systems in Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico, not to mention systems like DirecTV, Dish Network, AT&T, UVerse, that no matter what happens with the network, if it stays, we still have to go out and cut individual carriage deals with all of those providers, and there's just no telling how long that will take till full carriage is delivered. If we're thrown out of the bankruptcy court the first week of February and we have our rights back, unencumbered to be able to go do what we want with them, then there's a good chance we could go to a current network like a Fox Sports Southwest or somebody else that already has carriage amongst all of the systems. And so there's a lot of different outcomes that could happen here, but I know by the time the season starts, sort of the path that we're going down will be clear, and then it'll just be a matter of time until we're able to, achieve full carriage.
Well, we really appreciate you joining us, Reid, today. It was a pleasure to have you on. And
thank you very much, Reid.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time.
No, good luck to you guys, and keep up the good work. We appreciate the passion for sports you have in Houston, and this is exciting stuff, so thanks for having me on.
Thanks a lot. That was Astros President Reid Ryan on the Houston Sports Talk podcast.